Good morning, Monday, November 17th. We are back with the NBA breakdown today using RudeBets, wap.com/RudeBets. This is where you're going to access these tools that I'm going to be going over in this video. And we're going to be looking at some lines and finding some plays today in the NBA. First and foremost, also, we're going to be looking at Kalshi. If you haven't signed up for Kalshi yet, go ahead and do so. Use code RUDE, and you get a free $40 to use when you deposit. So go sign up on Kalshi. I use it all the time. I think it is a great platform for so much more than what you can get on a normal book. So go sign up on the prediction market Kalshi if you haven't yet. But here we go, back on the WAP, wap.com/RudeBets. We're in the NBA sim. We are in the NBA sim. This is only our second video going through the NBA sim, but I'm excited to do so because it has been extremely profitable. I've been going absolutely insane in the NBA. This month alone, got 24 wins that I've posted. I've been kind of lacking on posting, to be honest. Yesterday I swept. I took two legs. I've been finding a lot of edges using the sim, using the NBA model, and pairing it up with edge stacking essentially to get plus 120s, plus 130s, basically double ups, 2x's of these slips here. And yesterday we did Matas Buzelis, 5+ rebounds. He had that by halftime. And we had Dylan Brooks, 15+ points. He had 14 at half. We had Denny Avila, 2 3-pointers. He had that by halftime. And we had Max Christie to score 10 points. He was at 7 at half and hit a 3 in the second half. So very, very easy, sweat-free plays. It's what we do. It's what we've been doing pretty much every day in the NBA. Just absolutely cashing out using these tools. So wap.com/RudeBets, come join if you haven't yet. And let's dive into our first game of the day here. I'm going to look at some of these games, not going to look at all these games. I don't want to go through everything because I do want you to come sign up on the WAP and jump in here with me. And you can see my plays when I post them there. But today, let's get a quick read on the first game of the day on the sim, which is the Bucks and the Cavs. So if we look at this game, the spread right now is Cleveland 6.5. I have it as about a 5-point game, so pretty close there. That's the difference of only one bucket. A 1.5 in the NFL is a lot. A 1.5 in the NBA is not much. So essentially, we are in line with the book here. Cavs to win this one. With a pretty high total, 239. The total on the book right now is 235.5. I like to see that. I do like to see that. Early reads here based on injury reports. Obviously, all of this data is subject to change as injuries come out. That will affect how everything else looks. But this is what we've got so far. So I personally, like I said in my first video on the NBA sim, I don't touch players like Giannis. It's rare, I should say. It's rare that I go after a guy like Giannis because their lines are just so high that any sort of inefficient minutes becomes a situation where it's ruined. The whole play is ruined. Whereas there's other guys who, they only need to maximize one of their shifts in the game and they can hit their lines. So let's look into this a little bit here. Points. Let's just get a quick read on over-unders here. So Donovan Mitchell's 28.5, Mobley 18.5. Those make sense. I think they're a little high, but they make sense. DeAndre Hunter 18.5. Yeah, it makes sense. Giannis 30.5. I do think he clears it. Rollins 14.5. Okay, I got him at about 15. Turner 12.5. Okay, makes sense. A little high. Kuzma 12.5. Okay, now that's one I'm interested in here. AJ Green 9.5. Jared Allen. Okay. Let's dive into Kyle Kuzma here. 12.5 points for Kyle Kuzma. Opponent rank versus position for points. They allow 18% more points to his position than league average. Interesting. His last 2 games, I guess, against the Cavs, he's had 14 and 14. His last 5, 11, 18, 15, 1, 29. He's all over the place on points. He's all over the place. If we look at the last 10, 11, 18, 15, 1, 29, 8, 26, 22, 22, 10. It's all over the place. He's very inconsistent. He is averaging 15 over his last 5 and his last 10 games. But with this matchup factor here, I do like, and how well Kyle Kuzma's been playing overall. I think he's earned the trust of the team, the trust of Doc. It has piqued my interest on the Kyle Kuzma line here, especially for something like, what's his 10+ points? Yeah, Kyle Kuzma, 10 points at -265. That fits in exactly with kind of these types of plays that I was telling you guys I'd take. The double ups where it's like a -250 to -250 to get you a +100. Kyle Kuzma, 10+ points. I don't mind it. I do not mind it. As for anybody else on points in that game, nothing really was jumping out there. For threes here, let's see anybody make 2 threes. That's kind of worth it. It'd be between AJ Green, DeAndre Hunter, Gary Trent. AJ Green for 2 threes is always a good play. He's going to shoot well more than enough volume to clear that line. So AJ Green 2 threes, I think that's a decent. Also another decent kind of alted line if you're looking for that sort of thing. Miles Turner, I would not. DeAndre Hunter, I would not. So it's really, and Gary Trent, I probably wouldn't either. Yeah, really just AJ Green. Just AJ Green. And then rebounds here. See, so Giannis obviously should get a ton of rebounds. His line is 11.5. It's too high. I don't like taking those types of lines. They're just too high for me to really be interested in. But I do think he clears it. I do think Giannis clears it. So if you are interested in those types of plays, you could go for it. But it's just not my style. It's just not my style to be taking 11.5 rebound lines. Let's see. Anybody around the Miles Turner over 5.5? Yeah, Miles Turner rebounds could be a decent play here. They do allow a little bit more rebounds than average, 8% more, 1.08 times. His last 5 games, 6, 7, 6, 8, not 6, 7, 6, 8. Sorry, I hated that. I hated that I did that. 6, 8, 7, 8. Yeah, so he's been kind of cooking on rebounds if we're being real. At least for that 5.5 line. So he should get around that 6 number. It's a bit sketchy, but I see why it's a 5.5 line and it's favored at -112. So I understand that and I don't mind it. Kuzma on the other side, 4.5 plus money. I don't mind that either. Kyle Kuzma, points plus rebounds could be maybe the lane for Kyle Kuzma here today. He's kind of all over the place on rebounds. That's the problem, actually. I don't know. 1, 3, 5, 1, 10, 3, 5. Yeah, he's all over the place. I'd stay away from Kuzma on rebounds. The guy he has no consistency. Bobby Portis, though. The issue with Bobby's is minutes are super low. 8, 3, 18, and 8 in 4 games against the Cavs. Minutes were 23, 20, 39, 20. So, yeah, this one was his big game minute-wise, but he at 5.5 rebounds, I think that's a pretty favorable line. Yeah, Bobby Portis plus money, plus 110 at 5.5 rebounds. I don't hate it. Specifically, if you wanted to ult him, once again, he's another good guy. You could ult at 5 rebounds, 5+ rebounds. Not a bad situation to be in if you're interested there. Mainly because they do allow 34% more rebounds to power forwards than league average, which is crazy to me. But they do. The Cavs do. On the other side here, Jarrett Allen, 8.5. I think it's a little high. I wouldn't touch it. Mobley for 10. Yeah, his line's 9.5. It makes sense. DeAndre Hunter to get 4.5. Yeah, makes sense. Pretty on line there. Same with Donovan Mitchell, 4.5. Those all make sense. And if we look at assists here, D Mitchell 5.5. I think it's a little high. Could happen, but I think it's just a little high. Same with Giannis 6.5. That's not bad. I like Giannis over 6.5 today, or 6+ assists. He's probably going to make a lot today. I do think they're going to do that double team stuff that he had to navigate the other day, where he had 18 assists. Very similar situation. Very similar situation here, in my opinion. And then anybody else that's kind of a facilitator here? Not really. Lonzo Ball, 4.5. Yeah. Lonzo over 4.5 is not bad either. Or 4+ assists. So you got some options there. Now, if we look at the top matchups here, I think we're going to notice, Giannis, Kuzma, Portis. So the power forward position on the Bucks does have the most advantageous rebounding versus position multiplier today at 34% more than league average for the position. So pretty solid there. Can't deny it. Pretty solid. If we look at assists here, number one positional matchup here is centers. Not really anything. Centers aren't assisting too much. So Isaiah Hartenstein might be a guy you could look at for assists. He is a passing center, maybe to get 3, but generally I don't like to take centers for assists. And then points, number one matchup today, Aaron Gordon. And then 3-pointers, not surprising. It's often a center, Pirtle, Mamu. So, interesting. Not really great to take most centers for 3s. Mamu you possibly could, but Yeah. And then let's go into one more game here today real quick here. Let's go into the Knicks and the Heat. Go into the Knicks and the Heat. And then we'll look at kind of a little bit of the top-down stuff, but this is the only other game I want to deep dive into because it's a close one. 1.5 is the spread. We have it as 4 in favor of the Knicks. Points here. The Heat are a bit of a hard one. They have a lot of guys who can score 20-plus points. Jaquez, Powell, Wiggins. Powell's been on a heater without Bam. Unfortunately, I don't know what happened here, but the New York Knicks defensive versus position is broken, so we're just going to have to look at it from this view for now. I'll fix that in a second. But Norman Powell, 32 points projected. His line's 25.5. Once again, it's a very, very high line. I don't like those types of lines, but maybe Powell for threes could be a little bit better. If we look elsewhere, 3.5, that's a high one too, but it's doable. It's doable. I think Powell's in a good spot today to score a lot of points. Wiggins, similar here, 20 points. I mean, Wiggins 15 plus is sitting at minus 280. It's okay. But with how many guys shoot the ball a lot on that team, I'm not a huge fan. I'd rather look at something maybe even like assists for Davion Mitchell. Let's see what his assist line here is. Yeah, over 7.5 assists for Mitchell. Not bad. It's a very high line, but it is not bad. I think it has some good value in it. Josh Hart used to be an assist machine. His line's 6.5. I think that's a bit crazy. Mikal Bridges as well. 5.5 is a bit crazy. Looks like no Brunson tonight. Is that what I'm seeing here? Interesting. No Jalen Brunson tonight. No Jalen Brunson tonight. What about rebounds? That's why Josh Hart's assists and Mikal Bridges' assists are a little bit inflated from normal, is because there's no Brunson. So, yeah. Be a little cautious there. Rebounds, nothing's jumping out to me here. We're not taking Cat at 12.5. That's just insane. Josh Hart, 8.5, still high. Where 10.5? Yeah, these lines are just a little inflated. Maybe this game isn't the best for props overall, if we're being honest. I like to look a little bit more in the trenches and find some of these lower lines. See if there's any points, guys, for like, what's Davion Mitchell's points? 10.5? That's way too high in my opinion. Larson, 10 and Larson could be decent here at 9.5. I don't know if I mind that. Interesting. And same with Fontecchio for 10 points too. Could be decent. If we look at the 3-pointers here, you find some value. Larson, Fontecchio over 2.5 plus 154. I don't hate it. I do not hate Simone Fontecchio over 2.5 threes at plus 154. You know, you're paying for a premium on it, or you're getting paid a premium on it. He's going to have to maximize his minutes and his shot opportunities. Three's a lot of threes for a guy who doesn't play that much, but at plus 154, I think it's good value. But overall, without Brunson, I'm not a huge fan of that game, for being honest. Then lastly, let's just look at first baskets here real quick. DeAndre Hunter, Jeremiah Fears, Jokic, Drummond, I wouldn't touch him. Khalil Ware could be a decent one tonight. You see a significant drop-off in probability. Number one guy here tonight is DeAndre Hunter. Jeremiah Fears right behind. And yeah, Jokic I think is also a good one. I like taking centers against the Bulls because if we look at here and we look at the most team with the most first baskets allowed to a center, it is the Bulls. So Jokic versus the Bulls, it's a pretty good read. I mean, 56% of their 9 first baskets allowed have gone to the center. So that's not bad. Not bad. And then Milwaukee on the other side, 43% of their 7 first baskets allowed go to the small forward. So you can kind of see why those types of players are identified as good first basket options. So this is a really cool tool I like. I think it's awesome. The first basket zone. If I'm throwing $100 on my 2 legs, I'll throw $5 to $10 on a first basket play. You know, it's really small. If it misses, it's completely made up for many times over if I have a profitable day on my other plays. So it's not like I feel it if I lose, but if I win, I definitely feel it because it'll pay out $2,000-$3,000. So I love doing the first basket lottos as just a very small percentage of my daily wager amount. Highly recommend y'all get in on it. And I have the best tool that you can find on the internet for it. I built it out myself. We got a bunch of stuff. First basket allowed by position. So this just shows what percent each team allows the first basket to what position. or by by methods like a layup, 3-pointer, free throw, whatever. And then the other way is how they score. So like what position do they score from? This shooting guard from Milwaukee scores a lot of their first baskets. Or how do they score? 3-pointers for Golden State's 71% of their stuff are threes. So if you're like, I want to take a guy to score by a three, Golden State's your team to do it. And then you can also look up any player. So Jeremiah Fears, he has 2 first baskets. You can see he's done 1 3-pointer, 1 layup. So just constantly you're going to find new stuff you can use on RudeBets, man, on the NBA model. We also have college basketball out now too, alongside college football and NFL. So come join wap.com/RudeBets, please, and I will see you there. I hope these kind of breakdowns are helpful. We'll start to get more in depth and more in a groove with them and more in a habitual routine. So make sure you guys, once again, join RudeBets, wap.com/RudeBets, and join Kalshi. Once again, trade on live events. I like to look at this a lot for futures. I've bought stock in Giannis for MVP right now. I've been buying shares of Giannis to win the MVP because I think he's extremely undervalued. If we look at it right now, he's chilling down here at 10%. The guy's playing better than everyone ahead of him. He's got better averages in every stat category than everyone ahead of him. If the Bucks have a good run and they make a good season out of it, this 10% is going to be a lot higher. So I've been buying shares like this as a stock. And that's what I love about Kalshi is you can buy them and sell them, trade them whenever you want. So join Kalshi, use code RUDE, free $40. You can go put $40 on Giannis to win MVP right now for free. So go join with code RUDE, and I'll catch you all for tomorrow's video. Peace out. Thanks for watching.